So right now, the United States is not the powers be in a place of compassion or coming from a place of compassion. And what I do see is that because the state of fear and anxiety and stress and dread and there's also a sense of helpless and hopelessness that is pretty broad among some people. This is affecting children, and children can pick this up. This affects them as turning into anxiety, hyperactivity, perhaps attention, what appears to be attention disorder, sensory issues, because they don't know how to process these emotions. They don't realize it's not their emotions that they're feeling. And so what happens then, they pick this up, they don't know how to process or understand it, and then their emotions start spiraling. And so I think what is important is to let parents know that even if you don't watch the news with your children, and that can be small child up to even high school, and even if you don't talk about things with them, they can pick up your energy. They can pick up your facial expressions, your body language, your emotions. And so I invite you to be very careful around your children. And I feel like it's very important for those people who are feeling anxiety and stress to really find an outlet for yourself that is away from your children. Doing something outside of the home, or I wouldn't even say close the door. I wait for your children not to be home. Or when they're asleep at night, maybe dealing and processing with your emotions, or journaling, just trying to get it out of you so they're not picking up of it so intensely. And so many adults don't know how to process emotions, so what happens is they stuff it down, and it builds and builds and builds. Think of that just creates a density of emotion that the child is going to feel even more. So it is vital for adults to process their emotions and take responsibility for the emotions at this time. Part of it is the adults nurturing themselves, and also knowing that's going to also help nurture, protect, and care for their own children. I also mentioned high school because remember that children's brains are not completely developed until their 20s, the emotional aspect of their brain, and a lot of high schoolers, even young 20s, think of themselves as invincible, and we're not learned in the society how to deal with emotions and process it. So they don't know how to process their emotions. They're not emotionally mature. And I'm not saying everybody, this is just a general statement. They're not emotionally mature or even aware that they're holding others' emotions. So I think if you do want to talk with your high school children, talk from a place of compassion, understanding, and even perhaps objectivity. If you disagree with a lot of what's going on, talk about how there's different points of view. This can be a learning experience of understanding different points of view, understanding how we can all get emotionally affected by ongoing things, and really just kind of talk about it instead of kind of putting in your own fears. Use this more as a learning process for older kids so that they learn how to discern what's going on. They learn how to understand their emotions. They learn, even teach them. There's anxiety that a lot of people are feeling. You might be picking up that. How do you know? How do you feel in your body? That's a great opportunity, if you can, to talk about that with a high school kid or even like in the 20s. And a lot of high school kids, right, teenagers, they don't want to have anything to do with their parents, so just pop it in here or there. Or just like have like a dinner together and you just bring something up, and then another time you're together you bring something up when you're like driving back from picking your kid up from school, things like that. It doesn't have to be a full blown out, we need to discuss this for hours, or see what works best for your child and for you. So that is what, instead of doing a forecast, that's more what I'm seeing and hearing is needed. Just knowing that, all these younger generations, high school kids, junior high, elementary, those are all generations, not just one generation, that's going to be coming in and assisting us later. So it's important to care for them and nurture them and help them, the human beings they can be, help them process but not be afraid, right? All right, I hope that helps.